off the ball and chain. Call me insane, call me a fool. You're in the game, you play by my rules. Show me, why do you care? I'm a black vulture, send me a prayer and I'll spread my wings in the sky. Let's go, wave like you see me now. Ooh, yeah, we're flying high. Let's go, wave like you see me now. Wave like you see me So why don't you see me I'm gonna wait until the time is right to pull you closer. I'm not your enemy, but I came here to win you over. Spread my wings in the sky. Let's go, wave like you see me now. The way you see me now. We're flying high. Let's go, wave like you see me now. Hold on, we're flying high. Let's go, wave like you see me now. Wave like you see me You don't have to go now. I won't let you down. I don't know how you found me and why you stay around. It all starts when I'm lonely and you really know me. Might as well call it poison. Chemical. Something's got to give now. A change has got to come. I'm waiting for the fallout of what I have become. It all starts when I'm lonely and you really know me. Might as well call it poison. Chemical.
Hey folks, how's it going? Let me know if you can hear me. I got a real different setup tonight. My computer's in the shop after a crazy week. So anyway, let me just go to the comments to make sure. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me, because I'm using this mic and I don't know if it's going to work or not. If you hear me well, then I'll keep it. If not, I'll go to the other mic on the computer. I'll just give you a second to answer to make sure that you can hear me. If you can hear me, then we're good. Okay, we've got a 1. Sounds okay. I don't know how close I have to be to this mic. Completely different setup tonight. Completely different. So, hope everybody's doing well. Monday Monday night ramble. I got to look over here because the camera's over there, and I've got a screen here, and I've got an iPad in front of me. Whole bunch of crazy stuff happening tonight. My regular setup is not here tonight, so I'm using just a backup Windows laptop, and I'm not a Windows guy. I don't really use Windows. I use Macs most of the time, but I don't have my Mac here, so I have to use this. So I'm kind of using StreamYards tonight and using this mic, and a little bit different setup, but we'll get through it. Figured, hey, it'll be a good test. Yes, this is the Blue Yeti mic. I've had this mic for a long time. I never use it because I always use my Shure mic, my professional mics for all my stuff, but my mixer is all run through the system, and it goes through my Mac, and the Mac was having an issue, and I've had that issue with it about a year and a half ago as well, where the battery was swelling. I think I talked about that a little bit last week on last week's show. What happens with these MacBooks, a lot of them, depending, like I use the hell out of it, obviously doing a lot of video and stuff for work, the battery itself swells inside the case, and then you start having issues with your programs, and actually the case starts to swell, and those things can burst and explode and cause fire and everything, right? So it's very dangerous. So it did it once, and they replaced it, and now I noticed in the last week or 2 weeks ago, I noticed the computer starting to act up, and I checked it, and you could tell when it's not balancing on the table. You can just hit it and it kind of bounces like wonky. Then that's a sign that the battery is starting to swell again. So I noticed it was swelling, so I needed to get an appointment book, and I'm in New Brunswick now, in a part of New Brunswick where I don't have access to the stuff that I had access to in Toronto when I was living in Toronto, and that, Apple stores and those types of things aren't around here. You have to kind of drive about 2 hours away down to Fredericton in order to get to an Apple retailer who can do the repairs. So I had to do that on Friday, brought it there, and then they have their computer for 10 days. So I'm out of that computer for 10 days. So I've got to use my kind of backup stuff here just to get some work done, and can't do a lot of video editing because my program is on the MacBook. I use Final Cut for all my editing. So, but it is what it is. Hopefully everything's working, and we'll get through tonight's show using the backup system, and that'll be a good test for the backup system. So let me go to the chat, say hi to a few folks, and then we'll get into the show. I've got some crazy stories for you this week. I had one of those weeks, folks, that man. Anyway, let's go up to the top of the chat here. Maybe I'll look at it on my iPad. It might be easier because I'm looking in the front. Let's see. I know Zach was in here first, so hi Zach, how are you? We got Clive Live 54, Mr. James Severin, yes, Custom Cote. I do have some news on a custom tonight, so we'll go through some of that. We've got CN 8800, that's my buddy John, just down the street, about 4 hours or 3 hours away from me, but in New Brunswick. Who else we got? Paul Liu, hope you're feeling better. Yes, I am feeling better, and I'll go through that whole story or that scenario that's happening right now with me. But so far so good. We got Mitch Heyman in the house. How's it going, Mitch? We got Janice Lala's in here. We got Mr. Brad Egan. Brad's from Ottawa. We got Ben Coombs from Ontario. Who else we got? I hope you're doing well, Ben. Watched most of your show last night with Tessie Switch guy, and that was a lot of interesting information. Fun show. Let's see. Just going down. Blackjack Guitar Nuts in here. We've got Lars Guitars. How are you guys? Dan Anderson. How are you, Dan? That's a new name. Welcome to the channel. Hope you enjoy it. Usually we have some stuff where we start the show with a jam. I play, and we play guitar through the system, and everything works fine and everything. But my system again is all completely tore apart because of I'm just using a backup system, and I can't play guitar through this system. I don't have it set up for that. So we'll have to get back to that once I get the Mac returned to me. Well, let's see who else we got in here. If I missed your name, I'm sorry. I'm just kind of glancing through here. Looking like Snowcross. Yeah, this is I guess FXR makes these. I like their gear. I like the material of this stuff, and they're known for motocross and snowmobiling and that type motorsport stuff. So I picked this up a few weeks ago. And let's see, make sure we didn't miss anybody. Dan of NJ, how are you? Dale Palmer's in the house. And 36 Solo. Your backup is better than 99% of the guys. I don't know about that. Let's see. Okay, I think we've got through everybody here, but hopefully everything is good. All right. So let's start with last week. Again, with the computer issues, starting to have issues, so I had to bring that to Fredericton. On my way to Fredericton, I almost got in an accident like 3 times, I think. We had hit some black ice on the way up there, and man, my truck doesn't have winter tires, but usually I don't have an issue. They're usually good enough. You know, I don't really drive it when there's crazy snowstorms or anything, but there was black ice on the highway, and I guess it doesn't really matter what tires you have on for that, because I was going up a hill and I was behind a truck or something, and I just, stepped on the accelerator a little bit, and this truck started to slide back and forth, and I was like, oh no, this is not good. And I still had an hour to go before I got to my destination. So slowed down, went a little slower, and had a few other little swings of the back end a little bit on the truck a few times before getting to Fredericton. But I made it there, thank God. But that was an interesting drive, and the drive back was okay. I guess some of the black ice had melted by then, but I was pretty early in the morning when I went there to get up there. So be careful if you're on highways and it looks like it's just pavement or whatever. It's pretty dark, because sometimes it's just black ice if it's cold, and it was pretty cold on Friday. So Rick Hefner, how's it going, my friend? We got just a few more people popping in here, so we'll give it a few more minutes. NAM was last week, virtual NAM. I think a lot of you folks got to see a bunch of stuff in your feeds and on the web and stuff. It was all right. I mean, it was what it was, I guess, for what you could do this year regarding conventions and exhibits and so forth. I think they did okay. I mean, it's just not the same. It's just not. I mean, you can go and check out the new gear and see some videos that they post on it, but as far as NAM, the conference itself, it wasn't. I don't even know moving forward how that's going to go. Now that a lot of these conferences have had virtual events, and some companies might not see the value in doing what they did in the past, like pay for $100,000 for a booth and have a little bit of publicity. Now you can do it all online. They can hold their own events if they want to anytime during the year. They don't have to kind of be restricted to just that January event or that summer NAM. They can kind of do whatever they want, kind of like what Apple did. Apple used to have like an event that was geared around a one time a year type of thing, and now they do them every couple of months, and they launch their products when they're ready. And so I think a lot of companies are probably going to go that way moving forward, because they're saving a hell of a lot of money doing it that way. But for us, like I like going there just for the experience, but for the companies that are exhibiting there, like guitar companies and stuff, they want to go there and get orders. They want the shops to come and visit them and buy stuff. Obviously that's the business. For me to go there and meet all my friends and hang out and go to the parties and play all the guitars and stuff, and I talk about it on my channel, or other YouTubers will talk about it on their channel, so it's kind of they get a little bit of a promotion out of it, but I don't think it's worth it for them anymore. So who knows, we'll have to wait and see what happens in the future. Let's see, I'll just go back down the chat. We got iRock the Blues is in here. Good stuff. And so you're probably wondering what that thumbnail is on this week's broadcast with the needle and the nurse with the mask on it. So a story around that is on Wednesday of last week, I started getting a pain like in the side of my stomach area, like where the appendix would be. So I just didn't think anything of it, and I was like, you know what, it's just I probably pulled a muscle or whatever. It's just normal. So the next day it was still there, and it was kind of getting worse. So I was like, okay, I hope it's not the appendix, because I don't know how that feels. I've never had that issue before, obviously. So I just kind of let it go. And during the day, it got progressively worse. And then on Friday, it was still there. And then that's the day that I went up to Fredericton to bring the computer. So I was in the truck all day. So I was feeling it, but I wasn't sick or anything. I wasn't having a fever or anything like that. But I just knew there was something going on with that area. And I didn't know if it was the appendix that was starting to act up and I should get it checked out or something. So at that point, let me just shut a few things here that are popping up on this Windows machine. So at that point, on Friday when I got back from Fredericton, I started to think, well, maybe I should go get this thing checked out because I have no idea what it is, and if it is the appendix and something happens, then I'll be in big trouble. So I went to the emergency here in Grand Falls because it's the only place you could go, the emergency room at the hospital on Friday night, and basically just went through the process, and I didn't think anything. I thought the doctor was just going to have a look and say, okay, what are your symptoms, and check it out, and then probably tell me that, whatever it is. And but I wasn't expecting to have to get a blood test and all this other stuff that night at the emergency. So that was a little bit of a shock because they tested a few things, and for those who don't know, I'm completely freaked out on needles. Needles are like the worst thing for me, for any phobia or whatever, it's needles. So when I walk into the hospital and they say, well, we're going to take your blood tonight, well, that kind of freaked me out a bit. And I didn't know what to think of that. So I dealt with it, and they took it, and I was like, okay, that's over, thank God. They checked the blood. The blood was okay, so there's nothing abnormal about it. It was all normal, so that was a good thing. But they did want to get it checked out further, so they booked a CT scan the next day at another hospital, which is about an hour away from me in Edmundston. So that was on Friday night. They booked that, and then on Saturday I had to go there in the morning. So they give you this liquid to drink, and I never had a CT scan, so I was like, okay, I thought it was an X-ray. I didn't think it was anything too serious or anything crazy, but they gave you this drink or whatever that tasted like crap that you had to drink at 5:30 in the morning, and then at 7:30, and at 8:45, and my appointment was at 9:30. So you had to drink like a glass of this stuff every hour before the appointment. You couldn't eat or anything. So I did that, got through that. So when I went to the hospital though at Edmundston to get the CT scan, like I said, I never had a CT scan, and a good thing I never looked it up to see what the hell you had to do for a CT scan, because I probably would have bailed. I don't know if I would have been able to do it, because what they do, it's like an MRI kind of. They lay you down on this table and you go into this kind of a tube thing, whatever. It's not a completely sealed tube like an MRI, but something like that. But as I'm laying there, I didn't think anything of it. I thought, okay, I'm going to just lay here and they're going to do the scan and I'm out of there. But the lady comes over with another needle, and I'm like, oh my God, what the hell? What are you doing with that? So they tell you at that point that they've got to insert this needle into your veins on your arm, and it's a pretty big needle. It's quite big, and it freaked the hell out of me anyway. And then it's got a tube attached to it, and then they put you in this MRI, and your arm sticks out the other side, and then they put this fluid in you as you're getting this MRI, right, to put it through your veins, I guess, to see it through the machine better. Or I'm not sure how it works, but she's telling me all this stuff, and I'm starting to freak out a bit because, like I said, I wasn't expecting this, and I'm not good with needles. So they put the needle in, and it's not the pain that doesn't bother me. It's just the fact that there's something in my body like that, like a piece of steel, like a needle going in there, just freaks me out. So then they leave it there, and I'm freaked out even more. So I start to sweat and so she says, you're going to feel real hot. You're going to feel some discomfort in your mouth because when they pump this liquid into your veins, I guess it has a weird sensation, which it did. So then I was like, she said, are you okay? Are you okay? And I was, yeah, I think so. And they went through the process, did the CT scan while this stuff was happening with putting the stuff in my body as far as the liquid. So I got through it, but man, as soon as she was done, I sat on the table and she knew that there was something. I was sweating. I was, probably pale, and I was looking like I was going to faint there for a few minutes. So she said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "I think so." And I just wanted her to get that freaking needle out of my arm, because that thing was still in there the whole time. And I said, "Are you going to take that out?" She said, "Well, I got to wait a few minutes because I don't know if you're okay. And I got to go see the doctor to see your CT scan, and he might want to do another one or something. And I don't want to take that out and put it back in." So then I had to wait like 5 or 10 minutes before she got the results from the doctor, so she can come back in and let me know if I needed to do more. So I'm sitting there the whole time with this needle in my arm, and I'm just freaking out. I'm shaking. I'm just not good with it. I'm telling you, folks. That's one thing for me that I never was able to deal with. So anyway, she came back about 5 or 10 minutes after, said, "You're good. Everything's good. He doesn't need to do it again." So they took that needle out, thank God. And then I was off and running. So I had to go get the results in Grand Falls, went back to Grand Falls, and then that's where they told me that they saw a lot of inflammation in that area. It wasn't the appendix, so I guess that's good, but they're still not sure what's causing that inflammation. It's kind of gone down since then, like since Saturday. Today it's not bad. I don't really feel it that much, so I'm hoping that it's kind of going away and it was just a reaction to something or a food, or I don't know what it could be. But they gave me some medication for inflammation, so I took that, and I'm basically taking that for the week. But now they want me to do oh my God, this is crazy. But I have to do this test where I have to basically sample my shit, I guess, for better word. And then I have to bring that to them at the end of the week or whatever. I've got to do it for 3 days, and there's a whole process to doing it. And then they're going to look at that, and then they want to book a colonoscopy or something. Like, it's just, I'm at that point now. Now I've got to go through that whole process. They don't think there's anything wrong. They have to do they have to check to make sure that they didn't miss anything and why that's happening or whatever. So I understand, and I knew I was going to have to do this at some point because I am 50 years old now. So you'd figure, you got to get that process done. So yeah, that was my week, and I still have some to look forward to with this, this procedure that I have to do, and this is pretty interesting. Let's put it that way. And now, it's not just that. I'm doing all this in the middle of a COVID lockdown here, because in my zone 4 of where in New Brunswick, they separated into 5 zones or 7 zones or whatever, and I'm in zone 4, and they locked us down as of Saturday because there was too many cases of COVID. So as you can imagine, the hospital, everything is just insane right now, and everything is locked down, and you can only go do certain things. You got to get in line. There's a whole bunch of craziness happening. So I didn't need to be going through this now. I don't think anybody needs to be going through this at any time, but now especially, not the greatest time to have a health crisis, if you know what I mean. So anyway, that's why I put that thumbnail there with the needle and everything, and figured I'd give you a quick update of what that was all about and why that was. So, but so far so good. I'm not feeling bad. I'm good. I don't suspect anything wrong, but again, I'm going to go through the test and see what happens. All right, let me go back to the chat room here just to make sure, because I've been rambling on. Will Starr's in the house. How's it going, Will? And let's see. I'm just going to go down here. Yeah, can't stand needles too. I don't know well. Some people have no problem with it. I'm just one of those people that never dealt with it well, and I thought, as I get older, I'd be fine, but it's a metallic taste. Yeah, for the CT scan, when they put that liquid in your veins and stuff, you start to have a taste in your mouth. You feel like heat in your body like crazy. It's just the weirdest feeling. It really not fun. Let's see. Enjoy life. Yeah. Well, I try to enjoy it as much as I can. Let's see. Dale says, every day I wake up is an opportunity to enjoy life and makes up for any pain. Yeah. Well, you definitely have to enjoy life because you never know what can happen down the road, and you know, things happen. But like I said, I'm feeling good. I don't have any issues right now, so let's hope it was just a one-off thing that happened, and that it's all good. Let me see what else I got here. Okay, cool. And the other thing that's happening in our lives, as far as you guys know, that I bought a snowmobile, and my wife got a snowmobile as well. We haven't been able to ride that much. We took only 2 rides, and on the second ride, which was about 3 weeks ago now, my wife's snowmobile had the check engine light go on, and this is a brand new snowmobile. It doesn't have 100 kilometers on it yet, so it's brand new. So we got home with it, no problem. It was just, we thought maybe it was just an electrical thing. So I got the dealer to take it back and have a look at it. So they plugged it into the computer, checked it out. They noticed there was a misfire in the engine. So they had to open up part of the engine to see what was going on. When they opened it up, they noticed that it's a turbo, and the turbo, there was a bolt in the turbo that was running around in there, and it tore up the whole turbo and got into the heads and everything. Like the engine is screwed right now, so they can't do anything with it. So this apparently was something that happened at the factory. So whoever was building it dropped a bolt in there, believe it or not. And anyway, the engine's gone. So I've been waiting for 3 weeks for this friggin' thing to be repaired. So it's not repaired. I said, there's 3 options here. You guys need to give me back my money. You need to give me a brand new snowmobile, or a brand new motor has to be put in it. Like, there's no rebuilding or just placing a few parts or whatever. I'm not accepting that, because it's a brand new machine. It had 2 rides on it. It's not acceptable. So I made my point clear, and apparently they're looking at putting a whole new motor in it. And this, I'm supposed to find out this week. It's either a new motor or a new sled. If that's not happening, I just want my money back. And if that doesn't happen, then I don't know. We're gonna have to go to court. It's not a good situation. I expected way more out of this situation with the dealer. I had no idea that something like that could happen. Anywhere else that I've dealt with something like that would have been automatic. It would have been no problem. Here's a new sled or whatever. This is a manufacturer's fault, and it's not acceptable. But anyway, I'm going to give them a chance. I'm going to give them a chance this week to get back to me and tell me what's going to happen. But I told them I do want a sled back in the next week or so, whether they give me a demo or whatever, so that we have one. Right now we can't ride in the trails because we're in lockdown mode here, like I said earlier, with our COVID situation, and they just closed all the trails on Saturday night, midnight. We went into lockdown, so for 2 weeks the trails and everything are closed because of that. So I guess technically it doesn't really matter if I don't have a sled here, or I can't ride it anyway because the trails are closed. But still, I still want the thing back, and I want it resolved. Because you pay insurance on that, you pay a trail pass, you paid your fee to buy the thing. Like, I gave them cash for it. It's like, no, it's not acceptable. So yeah, life just has a way of just, let's go. 2021 starting out with a bang, folks. It's just keeps on giving. All right, go buy a Yamaha. I looked at the Yamaha, but they're nice, but they're heavy, man. Yeah, things come in 3. Yeah, you're right, Blackjack. That's BS. I totally agree with that. I still have my snowmobile. My snowmobile is still fine, but again, I haven't ridden it enough. I don't know if that one has an issue with it or not, because, like I said, there's less than 100 kilometers on it. It was fine when I rode it last, but what happens if we go riding and that one starts having an issue? Who knows? The manufacturer should, it should fully cover the repair, and it will. They will cover it, but I'm not accepting a repair. I'm not accepting, like, oh, we're just going to get a new turbo and then we're going to fix the head and revalve it or whatever they need to do. There's just too much damage with that. And I didn't pay for a rebuild. I paid for a brand new machine. So that was what I told them. It's, either a new machine, a complete new motor in a crate, to just take the old motor out and put the new motor in. That's fine. I'll deal with that, or my money back. There's no other options. in my book. Let's see. Yeah, that's the thing. Like Blackjack says, why would you close the trails? They want you to be outdoors, not in groups. When you're riding your sled or your ATV, you're by yourself or with the person that lives with you, like my wife. Just we're in the same, what they call a bubble, so it doesn't matter. We can be together. And if we're riding snowmobiles, we've got a helmet on. We're riding by ourselves outside in the wilderness. They don't, like, the shelters, the places you can stop on a snowmobile, they're all closed. I understand that, but why close the trails? That's the only thing people can go out and do. Like, they didn't close the cross country ski trail. Like, people can go out and get exercise and stuff, but they closed the snowmobile trails. These people do not know what they're doing. I'm telling you right now, across these governments that are just making up all these rules and codes and red zone and yellow zone, and they have no idea. Like, it's okay to go and you know, you can't go snowmobiling or something like that, but you can go and meet in a church and inside a building, like, with 25 people. That's okay. Bonkers, completely bonkers, folks. Yeah, Rick, putting a new motor is still a repair. But technically, if you're just taking the old one out and putting a brand new one, all the parts in it are with that engine. It was all built, you know, in conjunction. So I feel better about that for some reasons. Let's see. Okay, Ben, we'll see you later. Ben has a show coming on at 8 o'clock Eastern. Trails are probably the safest place. They are. They absolutely are. But government thinks to make the rules as they go. It's insane. Put a Hemi in it. The thing has 150 horsepower to begin with, and I think it's 500 pounds. So it's better than a Hemi when it works. All right, let's see. All right, so enough of that life stuff and all the sled talk and all that. Let's get it back into the music world. Let me do this. I do have I am using StreamYards for this, so it's like a different setup, but I did have my little graphics put in here and stuff. So let me play with that. Let's look at some news. All right. So I need my iPad for this first news item. So I thought this was kind of interesting. Let me just go to my news item here so I can. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. I thought this was kind of an interesting little article that came up today in my feed. So if you were around back in 1974 and were in age, I guess, or you were going to concerts back then or whatever, well, you would have been able to go see Led Zeppelin for a whole cost of $8.50 for the ticket. And it was quite the show, apparently. It was at this day in 74. It was at Market Square Arena in Indianapolis, Indiana. About 17,000 people showed up for that concert. That was, you know, in the early days of Zeppelin. And they published the set list that they played that day for $8.50, right? Keep that in mind. Pretty good concert to see. And the set list is as following: Rock and Roll, Over the Hills and Far Away, The Song Remains the Same, The Rain Song, Kashmir, the Wonton Song, No Quarter, Trampled Underfoot, Moby Dick, How Many More Times, Stairway to Heaven, Whole Lot of Love, and Black Dog. That was the concert. Great lineup of songs. That would have been a great concert to see back in 1974 on this day. So January, what are we today? January 25th. If you were around back then and you got a chance to see that, I was only 4 or 5 years old at that point, so obviously I wasn't going to concerts, but $8.50, man, that's the smoking deal. So just thought that was kind of interesting to see that. that back in '74, that was what you were able to get for your money. Great set list, man. Gotta say. All right, let's go to the share the screen here and see if I can go through some other stuff that we saw last week come out. So as you know, NAMM was last week. Some companies put out some stuff, and this one, just look at this screen here. This was what Line 6 put out, basically their Helix Stomp version. So Helix Stomp is basically the really small box of the Helix effects and amp modeling. So here they've put out something called Stomp XL. I mean, it's okay. It adds a few more buttons to it. It gives you a screen. But what they didn't do with it, which was kind of disappointing, is they didn't add more processing power to it. And to me, that's where they dropped the ball on this one. And I know it's been a tough year for all the companies and, manufacturing and stuff. To put out stuff, it's not been that easy. And maybe to build and produce stuff and get it ready for, I guess, NAMM, which was last week, was probably a struggle for companies. But I would have thought that they could have done something to the circuit, the actual motherboard on this, and put a bigger chip in it, because I'm sure they're all available now with the bigger chipsets, and had more DSP, so you could run more effects and run, maybe even more powerful amp simulators in that little box, because it is a pretty nice little box. It's not big, and the Stomp sounds great, but again, you're limited in DSP, the processing power in it. So it does have a lot more I/O in it, and it's a little clever design where they put the volume knob where it doesn't get in the way. So I guess it's okay. I was hoping to get a launch of a brand new Helix, with quad core processing and maybe some new features, and have the ability to profile amps and stuff like the Kemper does, all built in, but that didn't appear. So I guess we're gonna have to wait a little bit to see if that happens next year, because the Helix is 6 years old, I believe, now. So you would think that it'd be around this time that you'd want to launch a new product around that whole modeling world, because it's quite popular, and I think that they would do well with it. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But this is what they were able to put out, and at least it's something. But it's nothing that I'm, if I was gigging or something like that, going out and jamming with folks, I think this would be cool. Instead of bringing my whole big Helix, I could bring something like this and, just plug directly into a PA, or bring my Fender Tone Master amp, plug that into it, and, be good to go with that. So I guess it's okay. But I think they're asking, the Stomp is about $600 or $599 or $550, somewhere around that. This one's going to be $799, and that's US. So you can buy a used Helix LT for probably under $1,000 now. So if you can find a used Helix and you're in the market for that type of stuff, you're better off doing that than buying this. But it is what it is. Gibson put out some guitars, and I'm not sure if you guys saw these. These came out last week. If you're into SGs, this is a signature model of what's his name? Douglas. What's his first name? Kirk Douglas signature SG. It's a nice guitar, but I'm not into the whole 3 pickup thing. Not sure about the tremolo system on these. I'm not sure how good they would stay in tune. Never really played these types of systems. The guitar looks good. It's a custom. I like they should have made it an ebony board, though, in my opinion. I think that this is rosewood. Pretty sure it's rosewood. But to me, if you're going to build a custom as far as like Les Paul custom or this, you gotta be, ebony, I believe, for the fingerboard to really, it would pop a lot more to with that look. Not sure. I like the both colors, but I'm not a big 3 pickup guy. So, but hey, if you're into that type of thing, it's there. And this isn't a custom shop model either. This is a from the USA factory. So if this was a custom shop, you'd be $5,000 and up probably. But since it's an actual production model from the USA factory, the regular factory, I think they're asking $24.99 maybe for it US. So I mean, it's still expensive, but it's not like a custom shop. So if you're in the market and you like that type of guitar and you like the whole 3 pickup thing and the SG, and there you go. All right. Speaking of new guitars and 3 pickups, seems to be a theme. Mr. Peter Frampton got his signature custom shop model. This is released now, or will be released this year by Gibson in the custom shop. Now this is a totally different thing. This thing is going to be about, last I heard, was going to be around the $15,000 range. Yes, you heard me right. $15,000. Crazy. I would not be paying that. I mean, unless you're a diehard Peter Frampton freak fanatic and you want to have this guitar, there's something completely special about it that resonates with you. I just don't see it. I can't see $15,000 value here, but who knows? Who knows? Yeah, Blackjack, I do agree with your comment. That is insane. But that is what they're going to be asking for this thing, apparently. Not going to be a cheap instrument. It is a custom shop. I would expect this to be a custom shop model, like a slash model, a custom shop slash or something like that. In the $5,000 to $6,000 range would be what I was expecting, but what I heard was $15,000. So yeah, it's out there. I don't know. What do you guys think? Yeah, Dale's gonna pass on that. Putin just says for a beat up what now? Well, maybe Peter will play it at your house when you receive it, and you'll have some other stuff associated with that price tag. I don't know. I just don't know the value there. But anyway, hey, if you can get it, all the power to you. You know me, I love Gibson, so I have nothing bad to say about that. But for their pricing on this one, I think they're a little bit out there. Let me just go down the chat here just to see. Hey, Guitar Man 45 had a lot of tickets for Led Zeppelin, a whole bunch of us was going in 1980. I think I paid $18 for each, but Bonham went and died. Oh no, Bonham died on you, so you didn't see the concert. Oh, 1980. Wow, yeah, that would have been something. Let's see. I'm just going to go down here a little bit. Brad says it should come with Frampton playing. Well, that's what I'm saying. He should come to your house with it, deliver it. And you could, sit down with him for an evening and, shoot the shit. maybe. I mean, this is something Gene would do, Gene Simmons. Let's see. Does it come with a 59 Marshall? No, it does not. It does not, but it'd be nice, Yeah, for that price, you'd like to get a Plexi and a 412 and some other goodies for sure. But no, it's just the guitar, I'm still in search for that Strat, and it doesn't look like I'm going to be successful because every time I look and what's out there in the market is just overpriced. The one that I found recently is this one. This is a Guitar Center, or is it a Guitar Center? I'm not sure. No, this is Bizarre Guitars in Nevada, so in Las Vegas. They've got this one here, which is kind of cool, kind of what I'm looking for, 56. It's 3,700 Canadian. I'm looking at that 3 to 3,500 range is where I'm comfortable with. 3,700 is a little higher than what I'd pay, plus you pay the shipping. By the time it gets here, you probably have some brokerage and taxes, so you're getting up there now. But as far as pricing in my area, like what I'm looking to spend, this is the closest I could find, believe it or not, in that color anyway, in the white. And it's got the neck that I like, and I like the back of the neck being kind of that sanded thing, which it does have. I like the white color. So, but again, it has gone down. It was 4,300 and now it's 37. So I could put in an offer if I wanted to, but I think I'm just going to hold tight and see what happens, because this year is going to be an interesting year. Once this economy shakes out and all this stuff with COVID starts to die down and everything starts to place itself again, we're probably going to see the used market come back up and have prices that are reasonable, because folks that have gone out and bought these things, or some people that own them already, if you're going through a hard time or whatever, we're going to start to see some of these things sell off in the market. So that's my thinking anyway. I don't know if that will come true or not, but I think I'm just going to hold off a little bit and wait maybe mid-year and see what the market is doing at that point and see what's out there for inventory. And that's all you can do, because most of the market that I'm seeing when it comes to used gear is just overpriced. It's really overpriced. These are all $4,000 and up as far as 56 reissues that I'm looking for. Very, very limited amount in the white relict. You get a lot of reds and blues, I find, but really not that much, and everything is just really high priced. So let's see. Dale says, I think there will be deals on Stratocaster guitars within the next year. Yeah, well, that's what I'm just wondering, because the market's going to shake out a little bit once this pandemic stuff starts to settle down and people get back out, and when bills come in for folks that have been spending, maybe didn't have the money and now they need the money to pay bills and stuff. Who knows, right? So we could see some movement in the used market and maybe some better pricing, but we'll have to wait and see. Rick says tons of strats popping up on Craigslist here in Colorado. I'm sure there are, even in my market here in Kijiji, which is kind of our Craigslist here in Canada, I do see them, the strats, but as far as custom shop stuff goes, which is what I'm looking for, the 56 neck and that, sanded neck and all that stuff, not much comes up, and when it does, something comes up, it's just overpriced, so more than what I want to pay for it anyway. So I guess that's where we're at with it. All right, let me go back to this. Okay, trying to figure my way around StreamYards. Let's go back to the comments here. Rick says he has a single hum LTD, but the singles are humbuckers. Huh, interesting. Yeah, Mitch, I don't know about that. I don't know if they're going to lower the overseas tariffs or whatever to kind of give us a little bit better rate on our dollars. But, anything can happen. Yeah, see, I'm looking for a custom shop. That's my problem. If I wanted just a regular, American Strat right off the shelves or whatever, I think I've got a lot of choices out there. But even those, I've looked around a little bit, and people are asking top dollar for those as well. I think the whole used market is just it's overpriced right now, I believe. But if you want that guitar and you need that guitar, you're gonna pay. I guess it's fine. But I'm not in a huge rush for it. It's just something that I really would like to add in my collection, because I've got the 3 Les Pauls and the Telly, and that really covers 90% of everything that I do. That Strat would be nice to have to get that that other flavor that I don't have in there now when I'm recording and writing originals, to pop that in there to give some variety and give me more options. But it's not I don't necessarily need it, but it's something that I'm looking for. The other guitar that I really like recently and that I'm looking at more is a 335. For some reason, that's caught my eye lately, and I've tried them in the past, and I was so on them. But I tried one about 3 weeks ago at a local store here. They had one, and I kind of liked it. So that's one that in the future, the Strat is still up on the list first that I want to get. But 335s are nice too. There's Zims. How's it going, my man? Welcome to the show. Hope you're doing well out there in Arizona. We got him here. There he is. Zims Guitars in the house. Yeah, Blackjack. Reverb is high prices and they take a cut. Yeah. Yep. It is a weird market out there, but I'll find it. I'll find it eventually. It's just a matter of the right time, the right place. And when you're spending over $3,000, you really want to get as much of the things that you want on a guitar. Like, I know the neck that I want. I kind of, the color, I'm starting to sway a little bit. I was kind of stuck on the white for a long time, and now I've looked a little bit more, and some of the other colors are okay with me. Like, I saw a nice Sunburst Relic one that was kind of, looked really good. So, and there was I believe it was a kind of a teal type of color Relic that wasn't bad as well. So that part I can kind of be flexible with, but as far as the neck profile, I'm pretty much stuck on that, because if you're going to spend that type of money, you want to make sure you get what you want. So let's see, just going down the list here to make sure I didn't miss any comments. Let's see what else. All right, go down here. All right, cool. Well, StreamYard seems to be doing the trick for tonight. Hopefully I get the computer back next week and we get back to the regular setup, but we'll have to wait and see. We're in lockdown here, so I can't really go that far anyway, so we'll have to wait and see. So Rick says, where's Rick here? Why don't you order a custom shop from Fender and get it? Yeah, I could do that and get exactly what I want, but then I would be probably paying close to $6,000 by the time it was said and done. By the time you pay the Fender cost, which is US dollars, I'm in Canada, remember, and do the conversion and get it shipped to you and pay the brokerage and all that stuff, you're probably going to be close to that $6,000 mark, which is pretty close to double what I want to pay for it. So that's why I'm not doing that, because otherwise I would go that route. It would probably take 6 to 8 months to get the guitar, and when you're doing a custom order, usually that's kind of where they're at. Even these days, it's might be longer these days because they're swamped. They're selling a lot of guitars, so I'm sure the factories are making a lot. So it would be a long wait as well, which I'd be fine with if I had it for the price that I want to pay for it. But it's a lot of money. Yeah, the waiting list, Rick, is like 7 to 8 months. That was back when I looked into it, 3 months ago. So that could have changed. That could be 12 months now, because they're selling guitars like crazy this year. Companies that are making guitars in music stores and stuff are having a banner year, or they had a banner year last year, and this year it's still going. So at some point it's going to level out and probably go down a bit to kind of adjust, and that's when you're going to see the used market start to come back up with more reasonable prices and wait list and stuff if you're ordering a custom guitar to come down a bit. John here, CN8800, says, would you save by buying through Long and McQuaid? Not really. Even though I have a contact here at my local Long and McQuaid, I mean, the manager is a real good friend of mine, and he could work with me as far as getting a deal. But they've only got very little margins on these things, especially when you're talking custom shop orders and stuff. So I probably wouldn't save that much. I mean, if they had what I was looking for and it was around that price point that I was comfortable with, I would buy it from them, because I would be supporting the local shop, and I would be able to go and actually play the thing and before I bought it. Because that's the other thing. I'm not able to go in a shop and play. I've played the 56 reissue, so I know what the neck feels like. But whatever guitar I get, if I order it, I'm going to have to kind of wait till I get it. And then the guitar might feel weird, or the neck will feel the same as long as it is a 56 V-neck. But who knows, right? It's like anything. When you you can pick up two identical guitars and they can feel very different to each other. The same thing with my Les Pauls. I was fortunate that all the Les Pauls, except for the custom, mind you, I did not play that one. I met the guy in Montreal on my way to New Brunswick last year or whatever, when I came here for Christmas, and I bought it on site. But I technically got to play it before I gave him the money. I took it out of the case and where I met him, and I put it in my hand and played it, and for a whole 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and wasn't a lot of time, but I knew I liked it, so I bought it. But if I order a guitar online and you're paying $5,000 or $3,000 or whatever it is, and it gets to you, you haven't had a chance to play it at that point. You've paid it and you've got it, unless you can there's places you can return, but then you got to do all the shipping and all that crap. So there is a risk to it, but I think that's the only option I have right now, because locally I'm not going to find that guitar. I don't think so. Brad says it took me 7 months to get a set of to get a set of pickups. Holy jeez. Yeah, that's a little much there. That's for sure. Some companies will swallow their brokerage fees and shipping. Yeah, you can probably save on the shipping. The thing with the brokerage fees, it's the shipping company. Sometimes they have to get it through customs if you're ordering it. If I'm ordering it from the States to go through the border, there's always a cost associated with that. So it's never just that cut and dry, even if they pay the shipping. Have you tried? Yes, I've looked at Sweetwater. The thing with Sweetwater is, here's the thing with Sweetwater. Sweetwater cannot sell me a Gibson, a PRS, or a Fender because of the laws they have, because Fender has dealerships in Canada. Like I have a dealership in Long McQuaid or whatever, which is just down the road from me. So if you have a dealer within a certain area of you in Canada, Sweetwater cannot send it to you. So I could buy it from Sweetwater and get it shipped to a friend in the States or something, and then they would ship it to me. But for me to get it from Sweetwater directly, they can't do it. As soon as they put your address as Canada, it says it's not available. They can't ship it to you, because you have to buy the Fender from an authorized dealer here in Canada. That's the kind of the rule, or whatever, the arrangement that Fender and whoever the dealers did. So that's where that sits. Yeah, see, Brad says it there. Sweetwater are not allowed to ship a lot of things in Canada. They are allowed to ship some things, but there's a whole bunch of things on the list that they cannot. Let's see. Listen to Grandpappy. If you pay more than pay more than $17.50, you're being fleeced. Yeah. Well, I don't think I'm going to find that guitar for $17.50. That's the problem. It'll never happen. So if I want one, I'm going to probably have to pay more than $17.50. I mean, if I did find it for that price, it'd be amazing, but don't know if that's going to happen. There you go. Dale Palmer says, twisting my arm so I'll be able to grab one out of the fridge. Cheers. There you go. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that if you live in Canada and you want to order something from Guitar Center or Sweetwater, or some dealers in the States, like I believe I checked with well, Chicago Music Exchange, I was able to buy an Epiphone from them a few years back. I bought that Jared James Nickel model, and they were okay with shipping it here. But I guess with some bigger, well, Chicago Music Exchange is a big company, so I don't know. Maybe they don't have the same agreement with Gibson and Fender and whatever, but they were able to ship me the guitar, so that worked out okay. But and I did check their site as well, Chicago Music Exchange, for some of the guitars, but again, it's still way more than I want to pay for it. Let's see. All right, what time is it? Oh, 8:57 already. Wow, the hour just blew by this week, folks. It blew by. So let me see. All right, we got that here, got that there. So yeah, I'm glad that this setup worked out. I mean, this mic seems to be working, so good test for the future. If I ever have a system go down, I have a backup to go, and can go live. Blackjack says, have you ever thought about buying a kit and building your own custom Strat? I thought about it, but I don't know. It's an option. We'll see. It's something that I have kind of looked into because there's some pretty good, I think Warmont makes some pretty good kits, and there's another company that makes some really nice stuff to build your guitars, like Fender Strat especially. So something I'm looking into, but I'd like to just find the Fender custom from the custom shop and have it all ready to go the way I like it. But I don't know. It's not out of the question, Blackjack. Yes, yeah. Well, I get this, Rick. Like that, I could get I could buy a guitar from Sir or Friedman even and stuff, and they build great instruments, and or get a custom builder to build me exactly what I want or whatever. I just like I'm kind of old school where I want a Fender to be a Fender, and I want to buy it from Fender type thing. Or if I buy a Gibson, it's a Gibson and it's from that company. It's nothing like there's nothing, no logic to it other than that is preference for me anyway, that I want that authentic type, it came directly from the custom shop at Fender in California type thing. So it's just in my head, but technically there's no reason I couldn't get a custom builder to build me something amazing and, probably pay the same amount that I would for a custom shop. So, let's see. It's just, I'm hard-headed with that stuff. Not that because I've had a Sir and I've had a Friedman and they're great and stuff, but at the end of the day, it's just a preference. Because Friedman makes a great Strat and has a great neck on it and stuff. I don't know if they make because I had a single hum, the one that I had. I want 3 single coils. I want it to be like a Strat, so all single coil. I don't think Friedman makes that. I'm not sure. They might though. They might. But again, I just want a Fender to be a Fender, and that's it. So just like my Telly, the Telly that I bought, the custom shop thing, is amazing, and it's beautiful. And again, the other thing that happens with that is resale. Something happens, life happens, whatever, and you need to resell an instrument. If you buy something from a custom builder, that's great if you're going to keep it forever. But if you're going to turn around someday and have to sell it for whatever reason, you're going to take a huge loss on it. Whereas, if it's a brand name, whatever, you're not going to lose as much as far as Fender or Gibson is concerned, or PRS. Thanks, Clive. Yeah, for the time being, it looks like I'm okay. I'm hoping, but I'll have to go through that whole the colon test. I don't even know how to say it because I don't feel comfortable doing it, but we'll have to go through that. It's something everybody has to do, I guess. If you're over 50, it's the best thing to do, and figure out if anything's wrong. But right now I feel good, so I'm hoping it was just an infection, something weird happened, and it'll go away and I'll be just fine. So thanks for your comment. Great. All right. Have you ever played a Frankie? Yes, I have played the Frankie EVH, and that is one that I like a lot. I'm not a big tremolo guy, like something that has like a Kaler or a Floyd Rose on it. Just never really was that guy. So that's the only thing with the Frankie, that when I played it, felt great. The neck felt great. The pickup sounded good. It was a good guitar, but I'm just not a big tremolo guy. So, but it is a beautiful instrument, and for the price, I think in Canada they're about $1,700 or whatever. So they're still pricey, but I think they're a great instrument. So it's one that I wouldn't mind having someday. But yeah, I've always been a little finicky with the Kaler or Floyd Rose systems. Dale says a genuine. Let me put Dale's comment here. Where are you? Oh, comment doesn't show up here. That's weird. That's weird. All right, cool. Dale said, a genuine, authentic, pretentious Stratocaster will eventually come along without sacrificing an arm or a leg. Yeah, well, we'll see. We will see. Everybody says the necks are the best, Blackjack. I think, are you talking about the Strat? Well, to me, the 1056 neck, the V neck, has been, out of all the Fenders I've played, are really, really good. The neck that I have on that Telly back there, it's a 51 reissue, is the biggest neck that I've played, and I think it's one of the biggest necks on the guitars, period, as far as the built ones. And it plays amazing, so I really get along well with that size neck. So Brad says Frankie Floyd is flat on the body. Tighten the springs and leave. Yeah, I could do that. I could basically block it there, right? So, but again, that's it's a Eddie Van Halen guitar. I'm not Eddie Van Halen. I just don't think I should be having that. I can't play that stuff. So I don't feel worthy of it. I'm a Les Paul guy to begin with, and traditional as far as when it comes to Fenders, Tellys, and even the Strat is not like, I want it because of the recording stuff and how it feels, and I like the Strat, but it's not my main instrument. If I was gigging, I'd probably be playing the Les Paul probably more than any other instrument, and the Telly. The Telly and the Les Paul are my favorites. There's Dale says his Strat has a soft V and he likes it even though it feels different. Yeah, the soft V on that neck, that Fender, it's called a 1056 neck, is really, really good. I really enjoy it. Okay, Blackjack says, is that a D shape on the 50s? Yeah, it's like a big D. The shoulders are like a big neck. It's like I believe it's a D shape, but it's just amazing. Like, if you ever get a chance to play a 51, or I think it's a 52, also has that big neck on it on the Tellys, the reissues, the custom shops. Try it out. I mean, you're gonna pick it up and you're gonna say, "Holy Jesus, a baseball bat!" But when you play with it and stuff, it feels really good. Get a cheap Strat and a Les Paul. Yeah, I could. I might have to at this point. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. All right, folks. It's 8 o'clock or 8:05. So Ben just started his show. I hope you guys had a great night tonight. And thanks for joining me on another Monday Night Ramble. We'll be back next week at 7 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Atlantic, which is my time. And hopefully I got my setup next week and my computer's back. I don't know if it will be, but we'll hope. And if it is, then we'll do some more music stuff and go through some more guitar playing or whatever we need to do. Go through some Helix patches. And we'll see where everything lands. And I'll give you an update, a life update again next Monday to tell you what happened as far as health-wise and snowmobile-wise. That saga will continue, I'm sure. So thanks for joining me, folks. And let me see here. Good. All right. So if you've got any suggestions on future episodes you want to see, you've got a request or whatever, just put it in the comments and I'll see it. If you haven't had a chance though, I did release an original last week. I think it was released early in the week. It's called Timestamp. It's my first original song of 2021. It's on my channel. Check it out if you have a chance. It's kind of a rock, classic rock, Zeppelin-y type of feel to it, and put a video together for it. Kind of sums up the times we're living. So check it out and put a comment in there. Let me know what you think. All right. So until next time, take care, play some guitar, and stay safe. And hopefully you get through another crazy week of 2021. It doesn't seem to be getting any easier for us, but we'll get through it. We'll get through it. All right. Check you out next Monday. All right. Take care.